everybody, thank you for watching Sneha Taori, and today we have one of the finest business tycoons across Nagpur. And actually मैं मुझे ये चीज़ बताते हुए इतना प्राउड फील हो रहा है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, बिकॉज मैं अपने लाइफ में बहुत सारे जनरेशन के साथ में अलग से ब्लेंड हो चुकी हूँ, एंड आई हैव बीन अराउंड पीपल फ्रॉम डिफरेंट एज बैकग्राउंड्स. बट द मोस्ट कॉमन थिंग दैट आई हैव नोटिस्ड इन एवरी एज बैकग्राउंड इज दैट उन लोगों के पास में ना एक्चुअली में एक सही तरीके से ऑन ग्राउंड प्रैक्टिकल थॉट्स के साथ में गाइड करने के लिए कोई नहीं है. बट आपकी प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन आज इस पॉडकास्ट में आपको मिल जाएगा, बिकॉज इफ यू आर समबडी हु इज लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू बिल्ड योर ओन बिजनेस फ्रॉम स्क्रैच और प्रॉब्ली गोइंग इनटू द फैमिली जनरेशन बिजनेस, this podcast is absolutely for you because we have Rushab Shah along with us. Rushab Shah की हिस्ट्री बहुत बड़ी है. He himself stands as a personal brand across this huge city Nagpur, and no doubt in saying this, but he has been expanding his business across the country in different corners of the country, and today we are going to learn a lot of things about the typical desi dhanda that he has been doing from past so many years. But before we go deeper into the conversation, I have written a couple of lines. हमेशा की तरह, हर पॉडकास्ट की तरह. तो ऋषभ जी, आप रेडी है?
बिल्कुल रेडी है.
फिर सो ऋषभ शाह, फर्नीचर के शहंशाह. नागपुर से चेन्नई उनका बिजनेस राज करता है. एग्जैक्टली लाइक वाह 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 वाह. बीएनआई की मीटिंग्स में डील्स का हाई स्कोर. बीएनआई की मीटिंग्स में डील्स का हाई स्कोर. हर क्लाइंट के लिए डिजाइन्स की है भरमार. गुजराती समाज के सेक्रेटरी बिजनेस में करते हैं एस. हर चैलेंज को हैंडल करते हैं विद ग्रेस. एजुकेशन से लेकर हेल्थ केयर तक हर फील्ड में इनके क्लाइंट्स का है बेस. शाह फर्नीचर लो कॉस्ट ड्रीम्स को करते हैं चेज. 60 ईयर्स का सफर, स्टिल गोइंग सो स्ट्रॉन्ग. नए ट्रेंड्स के साथ उनका विजन है बड़ा लॉन्ग. विथ मेघना बाय हिज साइड और ऋषिता की स्माइल ब्राइट, ऋषभ's life is completely and truly a delightful sight, and a delightful sight, and a delightful sight. So guys, we welcome Rushab Shah on the sets of the Creative Crossroads, and make sure that you stay tuned and understand what that desi dhanda is for you and for me. So let's get going. Hi Rushab ji, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
But yes, a third generation entrepreneur.
Yep.
It is tough because बाप दादाओं की एक लेगेसी बनी हुई रहती है, एंड टू स्टेप इनटू दैट शूज वी आर स्टिल एन इवॉल्विंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन.
राइट.
आपने जैसे बोला, यस, द एम इज टू स्प्रेड ओवर अक्रॉस इंडिया.
राइट.
बट द जर्नी इज येट टू बिगिन.
Okay. Still yet to begin.
And why I say so is, see, being from a humble background, हम लोगों ने यहाँ से जो मेरे दादाजी के ज़माने से ये काम शुरू हुआ था, बहुत छोटे लेवल पे हम लोग काम करते हैं, और आज भी हमारा लेवल काफ़ी छोटा ही है. एस्पिरेशंस काफ़ी बड़े रखते हैं. We aim to grow, and that's what business, family business is all about.
Right.
It's about the kind of passion that you want to carry with you.
Correct.
And जब तक वो passion है ना, तब तक वो business मजा आता है.
बराबर.
जिस दिन वो passion कम होने लगता है ना, तब वो business का charm भी खत्म होने लगता है.
Right.
For us, in the third generation, we still carry the same legacy, we still carry the same passion, and we look to grow. And जैसा आपने बोला कि yes, business हमें बड़ा करना है. जैसी जैसी opportunities आएंगी, we will definitely look to explore those opportunities to grow the business. But at this point, being optimistic is the best way forward.
Right. So tell us something about your journey. क्यों आपने ये सोचा कि आपको बिजनेस करना है और आपको जॉब नहीं करना है?
Okay. So मेरी शुरुआत अगर मैं बोलूँ तो I came to Nagpur in 2004. 2004 से पहले मैं चेन्नई में रहता था. मेरे मम्मी पापा चेन्नई रहते, यहाँ पे मेरे चाचा चाची रहते. 2004 में वहाँ पे जो है मेरी पढ़ाई, I was born and brought up in चेन्नई, तो वहीं पला बड़ा हूँ. एक बड़े सेंटर में पला बड़ा हूँ. फिर मैं मास्टर्स करने के लिए बाहर गया था. इस दरमियान में वहाँ पे भी जॉब करता था. My career started with a job.
Okay.
So I started working at one place. I started understanding that business. फिर उसके बाद मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली कि मैं जाके मेरी मास्टर्स करके आऊँ. So I did my masters in the UK in MSc marketing.
Fair.
And वहाँ से जब मैं वापस आया, तो I had this option of joining the family business here or exploring the on work side.
Fair.
कि मैं कहीं पे भी जॉब लेके. मैं UK में भी था, तो I had the opportunity to work with some big names like Walmart. मैं उनके साथ में 1 साल था. I was understanding the retail business over there. And when I came back, I explored that opportunity here. But my past of working with some organizations where I was on the production side helped me understand my business better.
Fair.
And one thing that I would always want to suggest entrepreneurs is, if you intend to get into your family business, अपने business में जाने से पहले 2-3 साल आप बाहर लोगों के यहाँ जॉब करें.
Okay.
And why I say so is because जब आप लोगों के यहाँ काम करते हो, you understand the mindset of what an employee has or what an employer has.
Right.
जब आप अपने family business में direct जाके बैठते हो सेठ की कुर्सी पे, people know you that generation wise बाप दादा की कुर्सी पे आके बेटा बैठ गया या पोता बैठ गया. But पोते को ग्राउंड रियलिटीज तब तक नहीं समझ में आएंगी जब तक उसने कहीं जॉब किया नहीं होगा.
Makes sense.
And all big family businesses will ensure that their kids, before they enter the family business, they get groomed. They are actually put to work outside.
Right. Right.
So आप अंबानीज को देख लो, टाटास को देख लो, बिरलास को देख लो, आप किसी को भी देखोगे, the journey is always begin that way.
Right.
And it is always good for family-owned businesses to have their kids go work professionally somewhere,
Right.
to have that professional approach. With generations, businesses, modules and business, the way of doing business is changing.
Right.
ठीक है, पहले पुराने स्टाइल से चल जाता था, the trust was there amongst your people and all that. Slowly and steadily, education has played a vital part in grooming professionals, professional thought process. So now अगर आप देखते हो तो every organization has streamlined into a professional unit.
Right.
It no longer works as a family managed business. क्योंकि बच्चे हार्वर्ड, कैम्ब्रिज, यहाँ वहाँ से पढ़ के आते हैं, IIM से पढ़ के आते हैं, and they come back and they add more value. So my tip to the new young entrepreneurs of Nagpur will always be is, if you are planning to enter your family business, look to go and work somewhere. When you work somewhere, it will give you that opportunity to understand the dynamics of how an organization is professionally run.
Right. Right. Having said this, I want to ask, जब जो भी आपका वर्क एक्सपीरियंस रहा इन टर्म्स ऑफ डूइंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट एट समबडी एक्सेस प्लेस, तो व्हाट वर योर की लर्निंग्स आउट ऑफ दैट? व्हाट वर द माइन्यूट डिटेलिंग्स दैट यू हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड?
सी, फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट इज, जो मैंने सीखा था वो कोई भी काम छोटा या बड़ा नहीं होता.
राइट.
सो मैं जब किसी के यहाँ पे जॉब पे गया था इमीडिएटली आफ्टर माई 12th, सो माई वर्क एक्सपीरियंस स्टार्टेड इमीडिएटली आफ्टर 12th. मैं मेरे कजन अंकल के यहाँ पे जॉब करता था, उनका ग्रेनाइट एक्सपोर्ट्स वगैरह का काम था चेन्नई में.
ओके.
तो फर्स्ट थिंग ही वांटेड मी टू डू वाज, मेरी ऑफिस में मेरी कैबिन में बैठ, जो भी आता है उसके साथ मैं क्या बात कर रहा हूँ ये देखो.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. अब वो कोई क्लाइंट आता था तो मुझे बोलते थे जा एक कप कॉफी लेके. So my training started with bringing cup of coffee and glass for these people. So basically what he tried to put into me was be grounded, be humble.
Right. Right.
आप कोई भी मुकाम पे खड़े हो, आपके अंदर वो humbleness हमेशा रहनी चाहिए. And that is one of the biggest signs of a very good entrepreneur. अगर आपके अंदर attitude आ गया तो your customers will stop respecting you.
Correct.
They will only align with you because they need you. The day they have another person or another opportunity or another option, they will automatically switch. Why? Because your attitude is going to be a problem.
Fair.
So that was the first thing that they taught me. Learn to be grounded and learn to be humble. उसके बाद I was put into various departments doing odd meager jobs. तो कभी मुझे बैंक भेज देते थे, कभी मुझे वाउचर एंट्रीज के लिए भेज देते थे, कभी आप ये करो, कभी आप वो करो. So he basically wanted me to get familiarized with all the departments to understand
Right.
what excites me more. So my journey started when I immediately finished 12th.
Fair.
So likewise, instead of wasting time, if you are interested in getting into family businesses, at least get into your dad's office, start understanding what are the different roles there, start adopting to these roles. So basically it is all about adapting to different roles. जब आप अलग अलग रोल्स में जाते हो, आपको समझ में आता है कि मुझे एरिया ऑफ इंटरेस्ट क्या मुझे ज़्यादा सूट करता है, एंड देन दैट सेट्स द टोन फॉर व्हाट यू वांट टू डू इन द फ्यूचर. बहुत बार बच्चे क्या होता है, बच्चे पहले साइंस लेते हैं, साइंस के बाद फिर कॉमर्स में जाते हैं, कॉमर्स में बाद फिर कोई और फील्ड पकड़ते हैं, एंड देन they are still not sure कि यार at the end of even 5 years into their working, are they enjoying that job?
Right. Right.
So it is best from 12th onwards. If I am a commerce student, तो मेरे लिए प्रैक्टिकल्स जो है मेरी जिंदगी का जो रहता है वो ये रहता है कि मैं किसी के यहाँ जाके जॉब करूँ.
Correct.
एंड अ वेरी गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन डॉक्टर संजय अरोरा ने मेरी बेटी को ये एडवाइस दी थी कि बेटा आप 10th के बाद भी जब भी आपकी समर वेकेशंस है और अगर आपको लगता है कि नॉट एबल टू चूज व्हाट करियर यू वांट टू टेक, स्टार्ट गोइंग टू योर डैड्स फ्रेंड्स ऑफिसेस फॉर एटलीस्ट वन वीक एंड आप समझो कि वहाँ क्या होता है. सो कन्वेंशनली आज हमारे ज़माने में जो है इन दी अर्ली 2000s जब हम लोग बिजनेस में आ रहे थे या हम लोग 12th पास हो रहे थे, हमारे पास ऐसी चॉइसेस नहीं थी. हमको तभी से एक माइंडसेट था या कॉमर्स लेना साइंस लेना, कॉमर्स लेना है तो फिर बिजनेस करना है तो MBA BBA BCom वो सब चीज़ें दिमाग में. नाउ दैट ऑप्शंस आर चेंजिंग. नाउ यू गेट द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू स्पेंड टाइम, अंडरस्टैंड, एनालाइज. एंड आज की तारीख में लोग दे आर फार मोर अवेयर ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आर हैपनिंग. इस जनरेशन की अवेयरनेस अगर आप देखो तो आज ये जो 10वीं के बच्चे और हम जब 10वीं में थे, अगर हम अपने आप को इक्वेट करें, द किड्स नाउ आर फार मोर इंटेलिजेंट देन व्हाट वी वर दैट टाइम. ओके, एंड दैट इज ऑल्सो अगेन पार्टली ड्यू टू द काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दैट दे गेट. आज क्या चल रहा है, अवेयरनेस जो उनको मिल रही है, ये सब चीज़ें हमारे समय बहुत कम थी. So even staying in a big center like Chennai, you still were not as aware as what kids are today in Nagpur.
Right.
So credit goes out to the way awareness is being created, the way families are talking to the next generation. Here, I believe the mothers have a very big role to play.
Correct.
A lot of times that goes unnoticed. All the mothers in joint families or in families where there is family-run business, they have the duty and responsibility to groom the kids into this mindset. And when they groom them into this kind of a mindset, it becomes more easier because bachpan mein kids are more aligned to their mothers than their fathers.
Right.
That bonding with their fathers start only once they start getting into their 12th and into the college stage.
Correct.
तब तक के जितना भी काउंसलिंग, फ्रेंड, फिलोसोफर, गाइड जो है वो हमेशा माँ रहती.
बराबर.
So a mother plays a very important role in developing a personality in the child. She spends maximum time with the child during the school life and early college life. It's only after that that the father's role comes into play.
Correct.
So a big shout out to all the mothers out there because they've been instrumental in developing the kind of young entrepreneurs that we're seeing here today.
Right.
So they are the sounding boards, they are the thinking options, they are the ones who start challenging the thought process of the kids.
Correct.
And determining where they want to go, what their passion or interest lies in.
Right.
And they are the ones who tell them, how much it takes to develop a family business or how much it takes to develop a business on its own. So my mom has played a very instrumental role here in our upbringing. She made us realize the importance of money.
Right.
So she used to give us like 100 rupees pocket money. And at the end of the month वो देखती थी कि किसके पास कितना पैसा है. So हम 3 भाइयों के बीच में कोई एक तो 100 रुपए को खर्चा ही नहीं करता. वो छोटे भाई रहते तो वो क्या करते, बड़े भाई को चिपक जाते, भैया ये भैया वो. तो अल्टीमेटली व्हाट हैपेंस, बड़े भैया के पैसे खत्म होते, छोटों के पैसे इंटैक्ट रहते. बट माँ ये सब देखती है. सो एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ माँ क्या कर लेती है, ठीक है सबका एवरेज आउट करके वापस सबका उतना ही पैसा सेट कर देती है. सो शी बेसिकली स्टार्ट्स एजुकेटिंग अस कि यार आपको अपने भाइयों को साथ में लेके चलना है.
Right.
So आप उनके लिए जो कर रहे हो एंड दे मेक देम रियलाइज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ थिंग्स. सो दैट्स व्हाई इवन टुडे द एल्डेस्ट सन is always considered to be next in line to the throne because he's been groomed to take everyone along with them.
Right.
So the respect that the brothers share amongst one another, even in the family hierarchy. हाँ, आगे जाके पैसे को लेके बहुत सारी चीज़ों को लेके there are disconnects or there are separations which happen, but then वो कुदरत का नियम है. माँ भी एक उम्र के बाद बच्चों को छोड़ देती है अपने हाल पे. So that is bound to happen and that should be encouraged also. Only then will the next generations take ownership of things.
Correct.
आज अगर आप सबको बांध के रख रहे हो, it is good, but then there has to be a structure where individually people have space.
Makes sense.
If you bind them together without individual space, without individual authority or power, then it is all centralized or channelized to one particular place.
Makes sense.
And that does not bode well for any family run organization, and which is why Now, family organizations are going more the professional way. They want to ensure that the people from the family who join the business also come with the mindset of working as a professional there.
Right.
So आपका वो attachment या bonding जो पहले रहता था कि मेरा business है, वो है, but the approach is more professional.
Makes sense. Okay.
Because आपको बहुत सारे लोगों को accommodate करना है. Partiality या bias वहाँ नहीं चलता. जहाँ business में bias आएगा, वहाँ कहीं ना कहीं business का downfall भी आएगा. So without having bias, I think it is better. Give them their space, give them their zone, give them the authority, give them the power, give them the delegation to take decisions in a manner where the bigger picture is in focus, not the minor things.
Okay. Okay. So now that we have been talking about business and mindset somewhere
Right.
down the line, what if I tell you that what do you think are the key essential aspects of a mindset that one should have in developing a business?
So see, again depends on how you set the culture, how you set the tone. See, ideally when one wants to start a business, first thing he has to be very clear of is what is his goal, what is his objective.
Right.
Okay, with this business, what does he intend to do?
Right.
See, business is not just about making money.
Right. Correct.
Okay, business is about impacting lives of people. How are you adding value to one's life? आज मैं अगर फर्नीचर बेच रहा हूँ, मैं अगर कोई एक बड़ी कंपनी का फर्नीचर लाके बेच दे रहा हूँ, वो कंपनी फर्नीचर बना उस हिसाब से रही है कि इट कैन एड वैल्यू टू समवन्स लाइफ.
Right.
A brand like Godrej has not become a brand overnight. It understood the needs and wants of people and how that can add value to that business.
Correct.
आज Godrej ने Almirahs 1927 में बनाना चालू किया. Okay, and when it started making Almirahs then, wooden was in trend. But there was a challenge. People started buying from them because termites का problem है.
Correct.
हमारे कपड़े खराब हो जाते, हमारे पेपर्स डॉक्यूमेंट्स खराब हो रहे हैं.
Correct.
We need to preserve it. So there was a need. These people addressed that need by creating steel almirahs. Steel almirahs at that time slowly started impacting the lives of people. And वो स्टेज आया था जब गोदरेज में एक अलमीरा की वेटिंग पीरियड 3 महीने थी. कैन यू इमेजिन? In the 1940s, 1950s, people who wanted an almirah used to wait. तो वो लोग क्या करते थे कि बेटी को दहेज में जो है वो एक अलमीरा देना है, तो जैसे उसकी शादी तय होती थी वो लोग अलमीरा बुक करते थे.
Oh my God.
Because that was the amount of time it used to take.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So first is any entrepreneur needs to understand what does he want to do to create value in someone's life.
Right.
आज अगर बगैर कोई वैल्यू के, बगैर कोई रीजन के, बगैर कोई नीड के मैं कोई भी प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट में उठा के रख दूंगा, द इनिशियल यूफोरिया विल प्रोबेबली ब्रिंग क्लाइंट्स, बट आफ्टर दैट व्हाट? And we've seen a lot of companies recall products or stop production halfway because they felt this was the next big thing without proper market analysis.
Correct.
So when a young entrepreneur or a startup wants to start something, he first needs to analyze what is the need or want for this particular product.
Correct.
For me to develop the product.
Correct.
2, he also needs to understand that in today's date, does this product actually have that big a need that even the existing people cannot suffice? Okay? So जब Godrej ने चालू किया था, he was probably one amongst the first.
Right.
He was ridiculed for this idea. Again, a lot of times a new idea will always be ridiculed first.
Correct.
You will be claimed as a madman doing something stupid. But then that's how you make it big. All inventions were first deemed stupid and idiotic.
Right.
But then today they stand where they stand. Right? So you should have the courage to start something new. But at the same time, have the belief and back it up with statistics and data.
Fair enough.
Earlier, we did not have access to so much statistics or data, but today you have people in the marketing field who are ready to do the analysis for you, who are ready to do feedbacks for you. Any new product launch comes with the whole set of statistics and data that they want
Right.
to analyze how they should move forward or what they should do with this particular thing.
Right.
So any new entrepreneur who wishes to start something should ensure he has adequate research done in that field. And that is one of the reasons why any new startup today should ensure that the people who are going to do that startup have at least 5 to 10 years of physical work experience in that field.
Okay.
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 Now, if you look at things like Shark Tank,
Uh-huh.
apart from the money they kind of take from these sharks, one thing that is very important for these young entrepreneurs, or even the people in the kids who are in college and probably in 12th now, should understand that, you know, what you need to identify from these kind of serials is the kind of people who are coming there to do business. What is their education background?
Right.
What is their work experience? They've worked with big companies, big names. They've given that organization 10 years.
Right.
And in that process, they have understood what are the things that are, you know, those blind spots or those gaps or those leaks that can be addressed, and that's how their business ideas come in.
Got it.
So these ideas or these startups come out of analysis. It's not like मैंने सुबह उठा और मैं बोला चलो मुझे यार खाना बड़ा पसंद है मैं क्लाउड किचन चालू करता हूँ. गुड, करो, दिक्कत नहीं है. बट आपका स्टैटिस्टिक्स, आपका रिसर्च,
Right.
आपकी रीच,
Right.
कि आप किस टाइप का खाना, किस फ्लेवर का खाना, व्हाट इज द टारगेट ऑडियंस दैट यू वांट टू टैप. So, you know, a detailed analysis of all this needs to be done before you venture out. And most of these startups fail at that stage. They take off like a rocket and they come down straight down. Why? Because they don't have proper mentors guiding them.
Right.
They don't have the kind of support system that will tell them where the speed breakers are, how they should negotiate certain terms, how they should manage finances properly. They believe they have understood the trade because they have a degree with them,
Correct.
or they have parents who have deeper pockets to fund their project.
Right.
But that doesn't work. See, आज पैसा चाहिए, government देती है, banks देती है, there are private investors who come, but they only invest in your business when they see the merit in that
Right.
business.
Right.
Parents are the only people who blindly put money out of love,
Right.
right? At that time, they are blinded by the fact that they want to see their kids grow. But this is where professionalism steps in. See, today I would say if I'm not able to add value to my business, why should my dad or my uncle take me into that business?
Right.
Just because I'm their kid and just because blood is thicker than water? No.
No.
If I'm not able to add value to my business, then I don't think I deserve to be in that business. So likewise, when you have your own startup, if you are not adding value to it, there is no sense being a part of it. So first understand the need, understand the want, what is required over here. Only after that do you start taking your next big steps.
Okay.
And in order to achieve that, start following people who've been successful in various areas.
Right.
Try to befriend them through Insta, through LinkedIn, through WhatsApp. Try and get connected, attend their shows to get more pointers. Try to get close to them to understand whether they would be willing to mentor you in that particular field. See, a lot of times, one person might be very strong in the financials,
Right.
but he might be very weak in marketing.
Right.
So either he needs a supporting person or a mentor who's good at doing that.
Understood.
So it is always important to ensure that you have that kind of connect. And this is where networking plays a very big role.
Makes sense.
You know?
Okay.
Today, earlier, it was a lot of word of mouth business that used to happen.
Right.
It is one of the best forms of marketing even today. Right? The kind of consumer pull that you have through the word of mouth selling is more stronger because the convictions are high. Your repeat rates are going to be higher. But apart from that, today you also need a network. You need a network that helps you create the awareness, helps you create the, you know, selling your or advocating your product.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that is the key today in the strategies that people want to adopt. Word of mouth goes a long way.
Right.
Word of mouth is convincing.
Oh.
A lot of businesses have the practice of word of mouth even today.
Right.
Okay, if you look at the jewelry business, it is more of word of mouth. Today, if I bought the jewelry from someone, they will tell me, "Hey, I like this piece. Where did you buy it? I bought it from this particular place."
Correct.
Right? So what is happening is the other person says, "No, I recommend you to go and buy it from here."
Correct.
Likewise in furniture also, Godrej is a name. Likewise, there are many other brands. A lot of people today run to IKEA. They say, "I bought it from IKEA. I recommend you strongly to go there." Now, what are the chances that when I recommend you saying go to IKEA or go to Shah Furniture, you will go to that place? Why? Because you have that trust in me.
Right.
And you understand that because you have that trust in me and I have the trust in that brand, it is easier for me to depend on that.
Right.
Mobile phones today. One wants to buy a mobile phone, he asks 10 people which mobile should I buy.
Correct.
So the other person asks, what's your need? You'd say a good battery life, a good camera, and for the kind of work I am, I'm more happy in this. And this is the kind of budget. And if I tell you, okay, go buy Samsung, you'll not ask me why should I not buy an Apple? Or why not a Vivo?
Right.
You will feel comfortable. नहीं, इन्होंने बोला है, he is using a Samsung, okay, I'll also buy a Samsung. A lot of times people go by that faith and belief that someone has recommended this, he understands it better than me, I should go blindly and follow that.
Correct.
Instead of using my head. Right? Now, if you go to the shop and if you see that a Vivo वाला बंदा है टी-शर्ट पहन के वहाँ खड़ा है and he says, sir, मैम आप Vivo ले लो, तो दूसरा आके बोलेगा नहीं नहीं मैम आप Oppo ले लो, कोई बोलेगा नहीं सर आप मैम Samsung ले लो. Now you're confused.
Yeah.
Okay? And you still don't know whom to buy. So what do you say? भैया एक काम करो ना, ओनर को बुला दो. भैया मैं आपके स्टोर में पहली बार आई हूँ, मुझे एक फ़ोन लेना है, अब आप मुझे सजेस्ट करो. Because now you are in an unknown territory.
Correct.
Now you can't rely on one person saying, because you understand that वो तो उस कंपनी का बंदा है तो obviously वो अपना प्रोडक्ट प्रमोट करेगा. The owner उसके लिए तीनों बरोबर है.
Yes.
So at least he'll not give me a biased opinion.
Right.
Right? So this way you need to understand that when you step into a particular field, what is the trust factor that we are able to impose on another person.
Right.
And this is where your social circles, your networking skills will actually help you.
Fair enough.
It will be able to leverage that trust that you have on a particular brand onto the other person.
Right.
And that in turn helps the decision making process become faster.
Makes sense. Now that we have, बीच में आपने बोला that startups fail,
Right.
is मतलब you have your own certain opinions on it. So now that when you say that why startups fail, I think one of the most important reasons is कि startups आज जो open हो रहे हैं वो ऐसे हो रहे हैं कि यार आज मुझे idea आया, I have a very good friend of mine जिसके साथ मुझे startup idea करना है, and they both will come together, they will join hands together and they will start their startup. But then at the end of the day, they have zero analysis about what their competitors are doing.
Absolutely.
Or probably, you know, उनका क्या professional ethics है, because most of the times I think in my generation the fault is that these people are not able to keep a separate line in between professional life and personal life.
Absolutely.
So 100%, I mean, most of the times it happens कि नहीं मेरा बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है and he is also willing to do something with me, so हम दोनों साथ में जुड़कर कर लेते हैं.
Correct.
So do you think that this is also one of the reasons why startups are failing?
See, दोस्त है हम साथ में कर लेते हैं.
हाँ.
Now the question is आपकी दोस्ती कितने सालों की, कब की है, okay? And अगर बचपन का दोस्त है, have you shared this passion since childhood? Have you shared this passion only in your college life?
Right.
What is the conviction rate that or belief that you have? See,
Right.
मैं बहुत अच्छा बिजनेसमैन हूँ, ये मेरी सोच है.
Correct.
ये बहुत अच्छा बिजनेसमैन है, ये पब्लिक का ओपिनियन है.
बराबर है.
राइट नाउ मैं क्या सोचता हूँ इससे जमाने को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
Correct.
जमाना क्या बोल रहा है आपके बारे में उससे आपको फर्क पड़ता है.
Right.
राइट सो व्हेन टू पीपल कम टुगेदर, first and foremost thing is the clarity has to be there on what he's bringing to the table and what you're bringing to the table.
Correct.
So the reason why I say startups fail, I'm not saying all startups fail,
Yeah.
but at some stage an ideal life cycle of any startup to become successful has a period.
Right.
Right? Now there is a takeoff period, there is a period where they need to stabilize and then
Right.
they again look to move forward.
Correct.
Most of the startups they start in a very comfort zone base. हाँ मैं मेरे इसमें comfort हूँ, अभी इतने से हम शुरू करते हैं. They hesitate to get into an awkward position, you know, a
Right.
state of uncertainty where they are challenged, pushed.
Right.
जब वो स्टेज में आते हैं तब the question is how much can they sustain
Correct.
that pressure.
Makes sense. हाँ.
Okay, तब individual performance, individual thought process, individual identity निकल के आती है.
Correct.
Because see, when a boy and a girl are in that dating phase, they are in their best behaviors.
Right.
Then when they enter into a relationship and they start understanding one another, then they start taking people for granted.
Right.
Now why does most of these times these kind of relationship break down? It's because when they're put to pressure, they show their identities.
Right.
And those identities are their true identities which were never seen before, because in the comfort zone it's all hunky dory.
Right.
Right? So in startups, lot of times we emotionally get aligned.
Right.
मुझे कुछ करना है, चल तू भी आजा, तू भी आजा, अब उसको भी कुछ करना है. अरे कुछ करना है is okay,
No.
but without proper mentors, without proper
Right.
guidance. See, हम कितने प्रेशर पे क्रैक होंगे ये हमसे ज़्यादा हमारे मेंटर्स बता पाएंगे.
Right.
और कोई भी मेंटर जब हमें मेंटोरिंग के लिए आएगा वो हमें वैसी पोजीशंस पे डालेगा. दे विल चैलेंज अस. I've seen mentors. Look at Shark Tank. When these guys go to pitch their business, they're ripped apart. Right? जो हम Shark Tank पे देखते हैं is only 10% of what actually happens when they actually go to VCs, or angel investors for funding.
Right.
कभी आप जब उस राउंड में वहाँ जाते हो, they literally tear your numbers, they challenge you. मतलब they will try to prove that you guys are fit for nothing. एक नौकरी ले लो, शायद चपरासी की नौकरी मिल गई तो बहुत बड़ी बात है.
Correct.
The reason why they do that is they try to hurt your ego.
Right.
They try to shatter your ego to pieces to see how you react.
Correct.
Because once you take money from someone, you are answerable and accountable to that person.
Makes sense.
So this is one of the reasons why startups tend to fail, because initial direction, initial goals, initial culture that they bring onto the organization tends to deviate depending on the need and wants.
Right.
मेरा बिजनेस सर्वाइव नहीं कर रहा, आई वांट टू कट एंगल्स, मैं कुछ भी करने को तैयार हूँ. आई एम कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग ऑन माई कल्चर, आई एम कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग ऑन माई वैल्यूज. नाउ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग वंस यू स्टार्ट डेवलपिंग दैट आइडिया ऑफ कटिंग कॉर्नर्स, not living up to your ethical standards, or you are compromising with your values, then the startup is getting compromised.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Then you're going towards mediocrity. And this is where good mentors come in. They challenge you, they push you, they come at a cost. But in the long run, you know that at some stage they will exit, but they will make you such good entrepreneurs that you will be proud of these people.
Correct.
Today you have big names on the boards of organizations which are probably complementing or conflicting, but yet you will have these big names there because then you get the right kind of people to guide you and help you. Right? So it is always very important for startups, if you are looking to survive, put yourself in the most uncomfortable situation and position and see how you behave then.
Right.
If you know you can pull through yourself from those kind of situations, then you are ready to tackle the world and the challenges that are going to be thrown to you. And this is a cycle which goes on and on. The moment you become comfortable in that zone, you're back into your comfort zone. So then you challenge yourself beyond that.
Correct.
Then you take the next step, then you take the next step, then you take the next step. So this cycle will keep going on and on and on, and that will become a part of your daily process where you will be time and again challenged, and that's when your passion grows. That's when your passion, your hunger. See, the hunger for money will be there till a certain stage.
Correct.
But the hunger for more challenges will always keep growing, because you've been in that cycle where there are challenges getting thrown at you at a regular stage.
Right.
And you have embraced that opportunity to take on those challenges.
It makes sense.
Right? A lot of times, when we use the word, I have a problem, it's a very negative word to use, that I have a problem. If we replace that word with saying I have a challenge, you're more eager to fight it out.
Yes.
When it's a problem, it's a headache.
Right.
But when it's a challenge, it's an opportunity to prove yourself.
Right.
So, most of these times, these are small things that we don't actually analyze or realize in real-time world situations. And it comes out subconsciously from our mouth. So, like, problem hai yaar. And the moment हम problem बोलते हैं ना, हमारा दिमाग बंद हो जाता है. But अगर मैं बोल देता हूँ यार एक challenge आके पड़ा, पता नहीं इसको मैं कैसे handle करूँ, then people will be willing to help you in that challenge.
Right.
You yourself will be all that excited to handle that challenge.
Right.
So for startups, they fail because of these small things. But then again, the idea, the conviction, the need, the value, all of this is equally important.
Fair enough.
So मैं अगर वो conviction रख के मैं analysis लेके सब चल रहा हूँ, but उसके बाद innovate कहाँ करना है, scale up कहाँ करना है, value addition को enhance कैसे करना है. See, a car like Creta is a successful car.
Correct.
बट हर साल उसका एक नया वेरिएंट आता है.
Right.
मोबाइल्स में हर साल एक नया आप सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेट, हर 2-3 महीने में एक सॉफ्टवेयर अपडेट आता है.
Correct.
What is the need for the company to give this software update? It gives you this software update because it's keeping time with what are the new requirements someone is going to have, and at the same time that creation of value. जब वो यूजर देखेगा, अरे ये फीचर तो मुझे चाहिए था, अब ये अपडेट में मुझे वो चीज मिल रही है. so his loyalty towards that brand goes up.
Correct.
So awareness, loyalty, value addition are the key for any startup to actually take the next big leap.
Okay.
और जितने भी आप स्टार्टअप जो आज सक्सेसफुल होंगे, अगर आप उनकी जर्नी देखोगे तो these boxes would have been ticked at appropriate times.
Okay.
एंड जो स्टार्टअप्स अगर फेल हुए हैं उनके रूट कॉजेज में कभी कोई अगर जाएगा तो दे विल रियलाइज दैट दीज वर बॉक्सेस दैट वर नॉट टिक्ड एट अप्रोप्रिएट टाइम्स. Either they were way too late in ticking those boxes, or probably they were way too early in ticking those boxes, and then those feedbacks or the follow-ups never happened.
Right. Fair enough. So now from here, I want to ask that beach mein we use this term of social network and personal branding and whatever. So why do you think that we as the third generation, or probably we as the Gen Z generation, we really require कि हमारे अंदर वो social skill sets होने चाहिए,
Right.
irrespective of whatever background we come from, irrespective of whatever goals we have in our mind, no matter even if we want to do a business or maybe probably go and settle ourselves with a particular set of job profile or something of that sort.
Right.
So why do you think that? Because you yourself are a very huge personal brand, to be honest, and touch wood, everybody is really appreciating you for whatever you have become as a person and as an individual.
Right.
So why would you suggest that for any person एक social network बनाना क्यों essential है?
So Sneha, I will again see the answers are in the questions that you put up.
Yeah.
Now tell me one thing. आप यवतमाल से नागपुर आए, ठीक है? अब नागपुर में आपको कोई जानता नहीं है, right? So if someone asks you, okay, tell me, आप किसके बच्चे हो या आप कौन हो? So what is the first thing you will tell? मैं स्नेहा हूँ.
हाँ.
Okay, आप स्नेहा हो, but how do I equate with how or who you are?
Right.
So you're obvious to use your dad's name, right? And every time when you keep using your dad's name, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
मेरी खुद की कोई identity.
What is my identity? अब आपकी identity आपको कहाँ मिलेगी? Where will you get your identity?
When I'm in between people.
You're in between people.
Yeah.
But now look at it this way. I'll rephrase this and ask you again. आपको कोई होटल में जाना है. Someone suggests कि यार एक काम करो, वो लिटिल आउल कैफे चलो या लिटिल ट्राई दिस यामाज़ाकी, तो आप क्या करते हो? You go to Google.
Yeah.
Okay. What do? You search for that place.
Right.
You see their reviews. You see their photos. Right. Now what is all this? It is the branding of that particular cafe.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Likewise, if I want to search Sneha Taori, someone tells me Sneha Taori बहुत अच्छी वक्ता है, TEDx स्पीकर है, यार जेन जी जनरेशन की बहुत ही एक प्रोमिनेंट नाम है आज की तारीख में, मैं आपको कहाँ ढूंढूंगा?
इंस्टा पे, फेसबुक पे,
राइट?
Yeah.
So why is all this necessary?
Visibility.
Absolutely. So my question is, or rather my answer is, social networking, social branding, खुद की branding क्यों ज़रूरी है? Because that helps you grow your business as well.
Right.
Helps people connect with you better. Right? Today, in the business community, people know me since 2018, after I joined a networking organization. Because when I joined that organization, I realized that I'm joining this for the visibility, because in today's date, in the 14 years that I've been in Nagpur, not many people know me. And even after being in Nagpur for 14 years, I still have to resort to using my company or my uncle as reference point for people to join the dots.
Right.
Right? So a person's individual identity is equally important at some stage or the other. It also depends on not just developing your own company's brand or your product as a brand, but it is equally important for you to develop yourself as a brand.
Correct.
Right? Now there are times when you could parallelly have your individual identity going headstrong and your company's brand going headstrong as well.
Right.
But there are times when you leverage this visibility one another. Right? It helps. Because if I know 1000 plus business owners through a networking organization today, they know my company only because of that.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The company is not, pointing fingers towards me. It's rather me pointing fingers towards my company.
Right.
That this is Rushab Shah from Shah Furniture.
Correct.
Right? It's not Shah Furniture se Rushab Shah.
Right.
So that is what every young entrepreneur today aspires. He aspires to take a leaf out of someone else's book, but then create an identity for himself.
Correct.
कब तक वो अपने से ऊपर वाले generations के shadow में ही चलेगा. And at some stage that is equally important because when he takes over the role of being the face of the organization, it shouldn't be a surprise for people. Every organization or a family business should plan this out. The succession should be planned in a manner where the next generation who's going to succeed the previous generation in the business, and when they start managing business, are getting groomed, they're getting the right visibility, they are getting established as the face of the organization. Now look at the Ambanis. All the three kids are in different domains, but they're getting their succession in place. Right? This is a must in every family run business, that you plan your succession in a manner, you groom the next person who's going to take up. His visibility is equally important for the organization.
Correct. Understood.
अगर आज रिलायंस एज अ ग्रुप इतना बड़ा हो गया, बट अगर कोई मुकेश अंबानी को नहीं जानता, तो व्हाट इज द स्टैंडिंग दैट ही हैज इन द मार्केट टुडे? सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. मार्क जकरबर्ग, फेसबुक, उसकी खुद की एक आइडेंटिटी है, इसकी एक आइडेंटिटी है. सुधा मूर्ति, though she is nothing on Infosys board, but she's created an individual brand for herself. Now, how does she leverage it everywhere? आज हमें रोटरी में कोई प्रोग्राम के लिए उनको बुलाना है. We wanted to speak on women empowerment. She's there to speak on it. Growth of children, personality development. She's there to speak on it. But she's also there in Infosys as a personality, as a name. She's carved a niche for herself there. People associate it that way. So, individual brand is very important today. And in this generation where your consumer is a lot more aware than before, you know, कोई भी product, कोई भी चीज के लिए the first place they go is online.
Correct.
Right? So they want to see who are the people, who is the ambassador, who is the one who's promoting this product, how reliable is the whole source, and everything. All the data comes from there. So it is very important as an individual entrepreneur. आज आप मैं एक फर्नीचर का बिजनेस कर रहा हूँ, हो सकता है कल मैं कोई और बिजनेस चालू कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे उस चीज के लिए क्लाइंट कहाँ से मिलेंगे? मुझे उस चीज के लिए कस्टमर्स कहाँ से मिलेंगे? मेरी पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग होगी तो कस्टमर आएगा. बट मैं कल उठ के बोलूँ कि शाह फर्नीचर आज फर्नीचर बना रहा था, कल वो कपड़े बेचने वाला है, इट वोंट वर्क दैट वे, बिकॉज उसका ऑडियंस अलग है, इसका ऑडियंस अलग है. बट एज एन इंडिविजुअल मैं आज एज एन इंडिविजुअल ब्रांड में आज कोई भी चीज को वाउच करूंगा, कोई भी चीज को प्रमोट करूंगा, तो इट विल सेल. बिकॉज जो ट्रस्ट एक बंदे का मुझ पे है या मेरी बातों पे है, दैट विल बी मोर देन सफिशिएंट टू लिवरेज दैट ऑन टू दैट बिजनेस. सो आज इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का बिजनेस क्यों ज़्यादा बढ़ रहा है? Why are people wanting to become influencers? Because they're not restricted to doing one thing. Right? आज वो खाना इन्फ्लुएंस, होटल्स या रेस्टोरेंट्स को, कैफेज को इन्फ्लुएंस करके वहाँ पे उनका फुटफॉल बढ़ा सकते, तो कल दूसरे कोई बिजनेस के अंदर में भी जाके वो बढ़ा सकते हैं. So the idea is to create a personal brand. Which is either parallel or complementing to your family business brand.
Fair enough. Okay.
But that should always be there. They should work on both of these avenues. If it's a family run business, you have an established brand and a goodwill. Develop your brand so that when you take over this business, you're able to pull along the next generation of consumers into your business. My grandfather, jab he started, we have people who are still there, who are probably aligned with us over so many years. That's due to family relations. Now what is happening is you have people who are in the next generation, but they don't necessarily have to be your consumers.
Correct.
But if you want them to be your consumers, you will have to think like them, you will have to behave like them, and you will have to understand what is their source of information coming from.
Correct.
Where are they dependent on getting these information from? Once they have that, or once you have that data, then you are able to influence them on those platforms to ensure that they also align and be your loyal customers for the years to come.
Fair enough. So now that we talk about loyal customers, I think one thing that comes into the picture is the retention of the customers probably in the business.
Right.
So how do you define retention?
See, retention depends on how many times a particular client is going to come back to you.
Correct.
But it also depends on the kind of business you are in.
Right.
मैं अगर घर बेचता हूँ तो जिंदगी में शायद एक ही बार वो मेरा कस्टमर बनेगा, बट हाँ वो मुझे आके किसी और को रेफर कर सकता है. बट इफ आई एम इन अ बिजनेस लाइक फर्नीचर, द लाइफ साइकिल वुड प्रॉब्ली बी 5 to 10 years.
Correct.
तो आज मुझसे कोई ले जाएगा तो 10 साल बाद ही मेरे पास वापस आएगा. So business to business, the retention cycle differs.
Makes sense.
You need to understand what is going to be your retention cycle. And it squarely depends on the kind of business you are in.
Correct.
So if you're in a business where he needs you every week, he's going to be there every week. So then your strategy should depend on how to retain him every week. So what is going to be the key point?
Right.
How much he trusts you.
Right.
How much value addition you're doing to his business. What is the kind of service that you're going to provide to him. And how are you going to make him feel, wanted.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So when you send him a feedback form, or when you wish him on his birthday, you make him feel special.
Right.
That's how your retention rates are going to go up.
Fair enough.
So every business does not have a prescribed, or there is no standard prescribed retention cycle for every business. Every business has its own cycle.
Correct.
You need to understand that the business that you are, what is kind of retention cycle you need to be. So if you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Right.
So in case in my business, I know that once a client buys a furniture from me, he's probably not going to come back for 5-7 years.
Right.
Right? So how do I always keep my identity alive with him? So I need to ensure that I'm sending him some posts. He's getting to see me on the social media somewhere.
Right.
It need not necessarily have to be promoting my product.
Right.
But the fact that Shah Furniture is there needs to be there in his mind.
Right. Right.
So जब अगर कभी उसके दिमाग में कभी आता है 2-3 साल में कि मुझे अब एक चेयर खरीदनी है, so he knows that he doesn't have to look around anywhere. Shah Furniture is there.
Right.
So that should be in us to deploy the kind of strategy to ensure that though my retention cycle is long, I'm still there in the subconscious mind of my client.
Correct. Correct. And I think that's where branding comes into the picture.
Absolutely.
Right.
Branding is the key element to success in any business.
Fair enough.
If you are a brand, you will sell. If you are not a brand, the trust factor is always going to be the key there. Right?
Correct.
Now, when we go to buy a phone, if you have all these options, suddenly somewhere something like an Intel or a Java or a Lava comes in, they may have 10 more features added to that product, but how confident are we to go and buy that?
No.
Because we still feel, no, ये China का product है,
Right.
the perception.
Right.
Because the branding has never happened well.
Correct.
Right?
Understood.
And their target audience has never been that elite class. They never projected themselves there. So that target audience is never going to go to that place.
Makes sense.
But when you have that target audience, so see, what's more important when you create your brand is also the kind of target audience you want to attract. If I want to get into the niche segment, that's what my target audience is. So my brand will be projected in that manner there.
Right.
A lot of companies don't sell the product, they sell luxury, they sell experience, they sell quality, and that becomes their tagline. It's not that I'm going to sell this to this class only.
Right. Right.
You want luxury, then this is my product.
Correct.
And that product comes at a price.
Correct.
So how you perceive things actually depends on what the kind of market you want to enter.
Okay. Okay. Market के हिसाब से I think one of the major learnings that I've had about business was एक बार I was having a discussion with my father about our own business that we run. So he was saying that most of the times it happens that पूरे दुनिया में पूरे ग्लोब में 2 तरीके के कस्टमर एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. एक तो जो ऑलरेडी तुम्हारे लिए अवेलेबल होता है और दूसरा जहाँ पे तुम कस्टमर को बनाते हो.
Correct.
So at times it is there that for example let's say अगर मेरा कोई स्टार्टअप है and I'm establishing a startup जिसमें मुझे सिर्फ ऐसा एक कोई प्लेटफॉर्म बनाना है जहाँ पे I want people who are trekking lovers.
Right.
So only they'll come.
Right.
So probably ऐसा भी बहुत बार होगा कि यार ठीक है आज मैं ट्रैक लवर नहीं हूँ but then because my friends are going तो I also want to go.
True.
So indirectly I become the customer even if I was not the customer in
True.
that case.
True.
So how does this work?
See, communication and marketing,
Yeah.
there are 2 forms. One is you push your strategy
Right.
through,
Right.
and the other is to pull people through.
Right.
Right? Now what happens is, you will have a mix of both of these things.
100%.
Right? Some people get influenced by their friends. Though I am not convinced fully,
Yeah.
but my friends are. So what is happening? Like I said before, that trust gets leveraged from there.
100%.
Right? And when they come here once, they kind of enjoy it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So this kind of a behavior is going to be there in people where someone might not be completely okay. Like for example, I don't like momos.
Okay.
My daughter loves momos. Somehow I have that inhibition about the way it is presented. Or even forget that, mushroom.
Right.
For some people, though mushroom is vegetarian,
Yeah.
some people are okay with it and some people are dead against.
Right.
Why? Perception, perseverance. But if I see that my cousin or someone is eating and he says, no, give it a shot. I mean, I also felt the same thing. But try it out. You don't like it, don't have it. So now what am I doing? I am believing in the other person's advice
Right.
and I am trying it out.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If it was for someone else, if it was for the hotel guy or the waiter, they're telling me, sir, try it out. Once you don't like, I'll take the dish back. You'll say you rather take the dish back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to try it.
Correct.
But because someone close to you has suggested or recommended, you will still take that chance. The acceptance rate is probably not 100%, but you are at a stage where you feel it is okay, I can give it a shot, worst come worst, क्या होगा यार, ठीक है ये लोग तो है ना साथ में, I'll just enjoy and come back.
Correct. Understood.
But the next time I won't go.
Right.
But there could also be another chance that you would probably enjoy and you would become an avid lover. Probably this was something that you were actually missing and you never realized it.
Right. Right.
So in business, consumer today is so educated that you need to make them realize what are the blind spots or what are the realizations that you're probably not understanding today. And when he understands a pain point that is there in the existing thing that he never came across, मेरे बोलने से उसको पता चला कि this is actually a pain point that I'm actually facing, but he never realized that there could be a solution to this problem.
Right.
That's when the loyalty shifts. That's when you win him over.
Right. And that's when retention happens.
That's when retention happens. That's when the trust builds. That's when he's more aligned with you for the rest of his life. So the trust, भरोसा जब बैठ गया तो then you don't want to divert.
Correct. Correct.
And भरोसा टूटता भी उतना ही जल्दी है when he feels misguided. So we need to ensure that business is not about just trying to win someone over
Yeah.
by hook or crook.
Yeah.
It's by telling him what the facts are
Right.
and allowing him to make that choice.
Right.
Because when you've given him the ownership of taking that decision by himself, he's never going to be, feeling that he's robbed.
Right. Right.
But when you try to convince him, trick him, or con him into selling something, and he falls for that, he'll always feel lost. He'll always feel robbed. And that does not bode well for any business where you want long-term association with clients. So though we are in a generation of 2020 where we like the games there,
Yeah.
in business always focus at playing a test match rather than 2020.
I like it. Very nice. Very nice. So it was great, man. It was great. Wonderful. Idhar se, now that we are towards the end of the podcast, unfortunately, but it's okay. That's how life is. Two piece of essential learnings that you have had in terms of the business or the dhanda that you have made from back then until now.
So one thing जो मेरे दादाजी हमेशा हमको बोलते थे, we were very small kids then.
Yeah.
He passed away in 91, 92. So,
Okay.
I was barely 12, 13. But a few things that always ring in our minds, and especially when it comes from the elders in the family,
Yes.
the words of wisdom.
Yeah.
तो वो हमेशा ये बोलते थे कि बेटा कभी भी क्वांटिटी के पीछे मत दौड़ना.
Fair enough.
Always focus on the quality, because quality आपको long run लेके जाएगी.
Right.
The day you're able to have that balance between quality and quantity is when you will actually win. If your focus is only quality and you're not giving the kind of quantity that is required to balance out in terms of pricing, you'll be way too expensive.
Correct.
And if you run towards quantity, compromising quality, you'll be one amongst the mediocres who are already there in the market. You will not have a value.
Understood.
So in order to have this balance, always ensure that your quality and quantity go hand in hand. So there is never a slip up anywhere, because the day that slip up happens and people start looking at you or start considering or equating you with the other mediocre people in the market there, your brand value is diminished. So this is one thing every entrepreneur needs to understand, is please focus on the quality. And again, quality depends on the kind of target market you are in.
100%.
आप अगर मर्सिडीज बना रहे हो तो आपका टारगेट ऑडियंस वो एलीट क्लास है जो मर्सिडीज अफोर्ड कर सकता है.
Right.
उसको आप मारुति के सामने मत पिच करना,
Correct.
या मारुति चलाने वाले को जाके मत बेचना.
Right.
आप अपनी इज्जत डाउन करोगे. Have you ever seen a Mercedes getting sold at the price of a Maruti?
No.
And if Mercedes offers you a 50%, 70% discount, would you go and buy that car? आज Hyundai ने उनकी एक्सेंट गाड़ी तमिलनाडु पुलिस, चेन्नई पुलिस को उन लोगों ने 200 गाड़ियां दे रखी थी. What happened? immediately public perception, ये गाड़ी पुलिस चलाती है, ये गाड़ी बिकना बंद हो गई. And this is the fact. How do you equate or where do you want to keep your positioning in the market depends purely on the target audience that you want to target.
Correct.
So धंधे में ये चीज कभी भी ध्यान रखना, never compromise with your quality. तो जिस दिन आप क्वालिटी के लिए मार खा गए, आप मार्केट से बाहर हो जाओगे.
Fair.
2, please ensure customer is king. Sometimes in business you might not make money out of it. Sometimes you might sell the product cost to cost, sometimes cost से भी सस्ता. But your consumer is king. Now उसके लिए हर consumer को आप जो है वो नुकसानी में माल मत बेचना.
Right.
But you need to understand and evaluate which consumer of yours, based on his history, where and how that you can make some compromise for him.
Okay.
Don't cut corners. Be ethical and be moral in what you do. So these are the basic fundamentals that are there in any business. It varies depending on the business. So anyone who aspires, the second generation or third generation who wants to get into business, should always understand what has been the core philosophy of my organization,
Right.
what has been the culture of my organization.
Right.
People say after every 3 generations, there is a cultural shift in the organization. So it is in our hands to ensure that we have a blend of our traditions and we also bring in innovations there.
Right. Right. And that's what I see you doing.
Yeah. So the more you incorporate this, better are the chances of survival in the long run for you.
Mm-hmm.
The least that you think about your old culture or the way your fathers or grandfathers ran that business and you bring radical changes into the organization, the system will tend to crumble because they are not used to that kind of a
Correct.
fabric.
Correct.
So
Correct.
these are my words of wisdom that I have got from my elders, which I till date implement in my business.
And now these words of wisdoms are coming from here to this third generation.
Absolutely.
And
To every young budding entrepreneur who is going to hear this podcast, please do respect the vision, the views of your elders and the way they've done that business,
Right.
because today we stand at a thought process thanks to what they have established for us.
Correct. 100%.
The first generation has toiled and struggled.
Yeah.
The second generation consolidated it for you.
Right.
And you're sitting on that empire which they have created out of blood and sweat.
Right.
Now it is for you to toil harder to take it up further.
Right.
And it is entirely in your hands whether you want to take it up or you want to take it down.
Right.
So when you want to take it up, take the words of wisdom that come to you from your elders, implement them in a gradual manner with innovations that will help you scale up in the future.
Understood. But this is not it. ये conversation genuinely अधूरा रहेगा अगर हम स्नेहा टावरी का famous rapid fire नहीं करेंगे तो.
Alright.
Before we start with the rapid fire, you can take 3 गहरी सांसें to just make yourself feel comfortable.
Okay.
And then we'll go for it.
Right.
So, are you all ready?
I'm ready.
Pakka?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that this is the rapid fire, you have to be quick and you just have to answer the question in first 7 seconds.
Right.
Okay. So, here we go. If your life was a hashtag, what would it be?
Have fun.
Your furniture in one word.
Economical.
What's the soundtrack of your business journey?
Well, soundtrack would be it's too vague. I mean, I'm still trying to figure this out.
Fair. If Shah Furniture was a superhero, what would it be its power?
That would be superhero.
Yep.
Shaktiman. Let's go with an Indian superhero and someone else.
One business lesson you have learned the hard way.
Customer is the king.
Fair. What's the one thing you wish you knew when you started?
That success doesn't come easy.
Okay. The one trend you wish you would have come back to?
See, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact that you get an opportunity to go and correct them back again.
So basically you want to time travel?
Absolutely. Given a choice, yes.
Yes. Okay. A dream project you are yet to tackle?
Making ergonomically good furniture out of scrap and waste.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it.
Okay. Describe your negotiation style in a movie title.
Oh. That's a tricky one.
Okay, we can divide the question into 2 parts. Describe your negotiation style.
Street smart.
Okay. And what would be that one movie title which suits you in terms of the business that you are doing?
The terms of business that I am doing would, again, you know, the list is long.
Think. We can add always the answers in the description box.
I would always say, you know, if I had to be a little naughty, then that would be Badmash Company.
Okay. The most unexpected source of inspiration for you?
Most unexpected source of inspiration for me would be my daughter.
Okay. And the last but the most important question of the rapid fire, one word about the Sneha Taori.
Simply awesome.
Yeah! Thanks! So everybody who's watching this video right now, let me tell you that today we were honored enough and we were fortunate enough to have somebody like Rushab Shah. Trust me, he's one of the strongest personal brands here across the city, Nagpur. And now that we know that Nagpur stands on the 5th rank across the globe in terms of the most and I think the fastest developing city, that's why it is only because people like Rushab Shah are here. ये कोई भी शुगर कोटेड एपिसोड नहीं था या ये कोई भी एपिसोड ऐसा नहीं था जिसमें ऋषभ भैया ने मुझे पैसे दिए थे उनका मार्केट करने के लिए, पर ऐसा जेन्युइनली कुछ भी नहीं था. ये सब जेन्युइनली इम्पॉर्टेंट है आप लोगों के लिए टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हमारे जनरेशन को बिजनेस एस्टैब्लिश करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है, क्यों करना पड़ता है, कैसे करना पड़ता है, और हमारे फोर फादर से जो हमें लेसन्स मिले वो हम लोग इम्बाइब करके आज के इनोवेशन को ब्लेंड करके हाउ वी कैन मेक द बेस्ट आउट ऑफ इट. सो दिस एपिसोड वॉज ओनली फॉर यू guys to make sure that success is coming your way and make sure that you are still there, you just keep going. And also at the last, make sure that you go and check Rushab's profile out on Instagram. He is doing extremely well. शायद उनकी लाइफ सोशल मीडिया पे इतनी क्लियरली नहीं दिखती है, बट समडे अगर आपको कभी चांस मिल जाए कि आप ऋषभ जी से जाकर डायरेक्टली वन ऑन वन बात कर पाओ तो मौका हाथ से मत गवाना. Please make sure that you go and network with him, connect with him, and stay tuned because we are actually going to come up with a lot of good reels and short videos out of the lessons that we have learned from this podcast. Thank you so much for all the love, and this was your pretty host for today, Sneha Taori. Stay tuned and bye bye.